Okay, it is 4 o'clock. We're going to go ahead and call this meeting to order. This is our October 10th, 2024 Board of Trustees meeting. So we will start with our Pledge of Allegiance. And Trustee Williams, will you lead us in the pledge?
Please rise and join us in the pledge. Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, welcome to everyone. So next up on our agenda is public comments on agenda and non-agenda items. So pursuant to Board Policy 2350, any person may speak to the Board of Trustees either on an agenda item or on other matters of interest to the public that are within the subject matter jurisdiction of the board and before any board action is taken. Comments must be limited to 3 minutes per minutes on the same the time limit. As a matter of policy, members of the board may not discuss or respond to matters raised during public comment unless the matters are properly noticed for discussion or action in open session. If you have questions about access or if you require accommodation to participate in the public meeting, please contact the Chancellor's office at 909-388-6903 as far in advance of the board meeting as possible. So with that, do we have any public comments?
No, we do not.
Okay. Well, the next item is actually clarification, but since I don't think we need to do that. Okay, so moving on to then approval of the minutes. We have 2 sets of minutes from September the 12th for our regular business meeting and September the 26th for our study or strategy session. So I'll look for a motion.
I move approval of both sets of minutes. Second.
We have a motion from Trustee Williams and a second from Trustee Reyes. With that, we are going to cast or have any discussion or any changes? No? Okay. So we're going to cast our electronic vote. So we're going to start with our student trustees. Will you please cast your advisory vote first? We will pause. And now the rest of us will vote.
Sorry.
Okay. Voting is closed. Oh, yes? Okay. I don't know where our technical folks might be, but will you just, I will just call for a roll on that. So student trustee Ruiz Martinez, how do you vote? Aye. Okay. With that, we have, we had a motion and a second, and the motion passes for our approval of the minutes.
Madam Chair, I don't see my vote on.
How do you vote? Best check. When all else fails, plug it in, right? Okay, so with that,
But still,
we're waiting, we're
the
still
number doesn't
booting.
come out, yeah.
So trustee Longville, why don't we get your vote on the mic?
Yes.
Aye, okay. So with that, the motion passes. So we are now on to presentations and recognition. I know we're still working on technical difficulties, and the good news is we won't have to be voting for the next couple of minutes. So we will, at this time, display the applause cards, and we will recognize the recipients for extra effort since our last meeting. So with that, we will look for the applause cards to be on the screen. But it's probably the same person who's helping us with the technical. There they are. Okay. Woohoo.
That's a lot of hearing.
Madam,
Trustee Longville?
yes, Madam Chair,
I would just like to thank whoever is responsible for the format change for the applause cards that provides a little bit of information, much more, I think, useful. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you. All right. With on to our next initiatives. And so I will turn it over to our chancellor to introduce this item.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So we will be having as introduced, a presentation on our diversity, equity, inclusion, and anti-racism, DEIA initiatives. We will cover such things in the report as the employee wellness, hiring workforce, some specifics in terms of age diversity, ethnic diversity, and so on. And so leading this work is our Vice Chancellor, Ms. Christina Hannon, and so I will turn it over to her.
Thank you. Thank you to the Board, Chancellor, and members of Cabinet for the ongoing support. I am Christina Hannon, Vice Chancellor of Human Resources, Payroll, Police Services, and Health and Safety Administration here at the district. Presenting with me is Dr. Christopher Crew, is on the way, and hopefully she can make it for the tail end because there's a lot of great information that we have for you today. The purpose of the EEO certification and reporting process is to ensure the district compliance with Title V, California Education Code, and other regulations regarding how we hire. At SBCCD, we want to move the needle, not check the box, but because it's what we believe. We believe in honoring diversity of age, ethnicity, experiences, and other areas. We believe in removing barriers for our students, employees, and the community. We believe in honoring inclusion, providing safe spaces, and providing access. And we believe in standing up against racism and acts of harm for all people. The information shared today is a snapshot of the work we've done over the past year. And we did a deep dive into how we behave as an agency when it comes to looking at our age diversity. I'm gonna share a slide that captures the information that was provided in the board agenda documents. We really wanted to examine the age of who is setting policy, who's teaching, who's managing, who's providing those support services, and lastly, who are our customers, our students? What do they look like? What does our future look like? It's important to recognize how we're doing and making sure that we are prepared for the future. I'm gonna ask Dr. Crew to talk about our age diversity at length and about the highlights of this research that we were able to pull out.
Thank you, Vice Chancellor. So on that first handout that we see on the page, we actually prepared two. That allows us to look at our age diversity, and then we look at the diversity of the workforce. In the board book, you'll see all the detailed data broken down in tables if you choose. But in the first handout, there's a couple of things we want to point out about our age diversity. Our age group goes all the way from 8. The youngest person in the sample was actually 9 years old. That was a student at Valley majoring in computer science. And the oldest being 86, an individual majoring in liberal arts. But if we look at the age distribution, most of our students are in that age range of under 19. We know there's been a big push over the last few years to increase the number of dual enrolled students at the district, and that seems to be reflected there. The first two graphs up there, which is our under 19 and 20 to 24, we see that just about 59, close to 60% of our students are in that traditional age range. But we do have a good number of students that are older than that. 39, somewhere around 41% or so, 39%, I'm sorry, of our students are older than 25 years old. So if we look at the experienced workforce, if we go just below that, and then I'll make a commentary on this data, if we scroll down just a little bit more, we look at the patterns as well of in that graph there, we have our faculty, our students, managers, and the classified. If we look at our faculty, 51% of our faculty are actually older than 50, and the other half are below 50. If we do that same comparison for our students, we know 96% are not going to fall in that 50-plus age. And then managers, if we look at that, we have 58% of our managers at the district are under 50, with 42% being older than 50. And if we look at classifies, 67% are below 50, and 33% are above 50. And so as we started looking at that, we thought about just the first part was the wealth of diversity and experience at the district. We have a very experienced district that brings a lot of knowledge, institutional knowledge and experience in the higher education setting, particularly in community colleges. But then we started thinking about what does that mean for our long-term efforts, as we have to think about succession planning, as we have to think about skilling up the population that's here. We may have been in the community college system and new things have come on, like AI. So we have to think about grappling with the new technologies, the new things we know about the higher education setting, and how to kind of train the workforce that we currently have and be prepared to move forward as individuals begin to retire. If we look at the graph there on the right, and I frame that as lifelong learning, even though if you look across the several years from 2021 up to now 2024, most of our students fall into that non-traditional age range, but with 30% falling in a traditional age range. But that tells us that we have a lot of students that come back, that are here for quite some time and are looking to grow their education, so they're choosing our district to come back and skill up in that capacity. So kind of summation of all of that, we do have a wide range of ages at the district. We do have a wide range across our faculty, and we have to kind of grapple with what does that mean long-term for the students in the age groups that we serve. In case there's any questions.
Trustee Wood?
First, I appreciate the information. What's the mechanism for a 9-year-old to enroll? How does that work?
I can talk about it from my prior experience, but I would actually like to see if one of the presidents would like to answer that process. Or I can talk. I have a dual enrolled high school student, but it would be the same mechanism for any school permission, of parent permission. It's the same documents. The content and the skills needed, they have to be able to show that they can perform at that level. But the young students that have been enrolled have been successful, to my knowledge. But I know, looking at Dr. Haran, he may have some more additional information.
With the students, the same process as Christina has shared, that all dual enrolled students have to follow. The young students that we see on our campus especially have very strong and present parent involvement as well.
Say that one more.
They have very strong and present parent involvement in that, especially when we have the 9, 10-year-olds and stuff. Some will even attend class with them.
Okay.
Not always the case, but sometimes they'll wait in the library for their student. But,
That's pretty cool.
But they do have to have approval from their school in order to participate in dual enrollment.
Because I've been here long enough to, when it first was invented, we had questions in regards to 5th graders and 6th graders. There was a sister and a brother, and as President Haran said that the parent had to more or less be there. Question that was asked is that a student was allowed to take biology in the other classes, and sometimes it dealt, meaning that was a concern. How was that resolved? Because that was a concern even for us as counselors, because I was a counselor then. I said, what do? You can't divert. You can't just say, well, we can't talk about that if we're going to do that. So how was that resolved? Because I'm interested in finding out, because I think it's good. I still think they're a little bit kind of young to, how do the other members feel? But how was that resolved?
I'll defer to Dr. Haran.
The student, regardless of their age, is treated just like any other student. So the 10-year-old student is treated just like the 22-year-old student. But there is very much upfront conversation about the content of the course, and that is shared with both the student, because the student has to have the parent permission to take the course. And so that information is shared. But the courses are not altered, and the content is not altered because there may be a young student in the class.
And that was a concern. We shouldn't alter that. how's their attendance? I know that, you can't be saying, you're gonna drive me home, pick me up at 10 o'clock in the evening, because just trying to be.
Our under 18 students often perform better than our over the 18 students. Yeah.
Anyway, I thought that was interesting. I'm glad that they were able to resolve that, because we've moved along far away now. We didn't have a dual enrollment back then. It was not even in the vocabulary. But now, because of the success, I think it's good. Who knows, it can be 10 years old now, I don't know. Thank you.
May I ask a question? Can you scroll up to the first table with the age groups? Because I just want to make sure I understand what it's saying there on the youth student body. So the paragraph says 30% of students fall into the traditional age group, and majority of students are between 19 and 24. So then the table, because the color bars are the same, it's hard for me to understand. So the under 19 is which bar?
We're looking in the graph.
Yeah. Because they're all the same color?
Oh, I get what you're saying. So the under 19 is the 30%?
The under 19, so then in your paragraph, where it says 30% of the students fall into the traditional age group, so we're saying under 19 is traditional age group.
Yes.
Okay. 20 to 24 is clearly the blue, the 50 plus is the 4.1%, which then means the 25 to 49 is the 37.7.
That's correct.
Okay. That helps me understand a little bit, because I'm still, majority of students are between 19 and 24, which isn't reflected on the graph, but we would add the
30 and the 29.
30 and 29, yeah.
30 and 29.
Clarification on what, can you define what the traditional age group is here? Because that's unclear to me.
So it would be students coming directly out of high school.
So 18 to 22, 18 to 24.
It varies on the definition. I went with the one that was 19 and below as a tradition.
Okay, so we defined it in this
Meaning
table as
in-
19 and below.
Yes.
Okay.
We could have brought the 22 into that sample.
Okay, then I'm sorry. So when we're talking about traditional age group, are we talking about traditional high school age group or traditional college age group?
College age group students.
Is under 19?
Well, actually, I'm talking about first-time students coming directly out of high school into the college. But I
Okay,
see what you're getting at.
okay.
Yes, if
Thank
you're going to expand if you're going to talk traditional, then you're talking about students that are 18 to 22, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Correct.
I know, that's right, right, yeah.
You're right.
Okay.
You're right,
So
you're
you're
right,
saying students that have high school diplomas?
yes,
are the-
yes.
Not dual enrolled students? Because that's what you, okay.
Yeah. No, I get what you're saying. So I was starting at the district at 18. There are students who may be 21 or 22, but did not go straight to college out of high school. So I was not including them in the traditional age group because they didn't go straight to college. So this graph is trying to grab those who went straight from high school into college, meaning they were 18 or 19 at the time when they started here.
And since it's reflecting all students under 19, it also includes dual enrolled students.
Yeah.
So 30% of our students are either dual enrolled high school students and/or students matriculating directly from high school graduation to our campuses based on age. Those are the assumptions that we're making with that.
That is correct.
Okay. Thank you for that. It was just the colors
Yeah.
made it
But
harder.
since I'm here, I'm actually, full disclosure, I'm colorblind, so sometimes this will happen in my report. So it looks just fine to me.
You're
Not
like,
to
they all
everybody
look
else. No.
different. Do they all look the same or different?
They look different to me.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
This one is
Interesting.
brighter than that one. and
Is
then-
it?
yeah.
Are you colorblind too? Oh my, oh wow. Sorry.
Yeah, we,
FERPA, I just broke a rule. I'm so sorry. I was not.
Disability.
I know, but I don't know. I don't know what the rules are. I don't want to break the rules. Okay. Any other questions?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I got two.
Oh,
go ahead.
Trustee Longo.
Go ahead, Joseph, you were
So
before me.
is it possible in the future, is there historical data on what that under 19 has looked like? dual enrollment increased over time? Is that helping us? Is that, and then, because that says something about the traditional student, like if their number is going down and, so. But then my other comment is personas. Personas will really make your data more dynamic. Like I took what you had and I uploaded into ChatGPT and just said, give me a persona, and it told me what these folks' motivations are, what their needs are, and from a policy standpoint, it can help our conversation if we kind of have some more like storytelling about, well, who are these people? And then it'll help us also know whether it's even accurate. Does it say, like it gave me what the motivation of a classified person is. It told me their needs in terms of technology, training, and all of those different kind of things. And so I think that would be a fruitful part to your report. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Longville.
Yes, I found this chart real confusing. And I'm not, even after listening to all the discussion that's taken place, I'm still not 100% clear on what all, and I'm just, I start looking for numbers to add up to 100 somewhere and don't see any that do. And I'm kind of, it just is not quite coming clear for me. So I don't know what to say about that. That's.
All right. Can I another opportunity to clear that up for you? Sure. All right. So if we look in that first graph, so if you're right, if you add up 30, 29, 37.7, 4.1, that should 59, 87, that's 100.
It's 108. Right?
Yep. Yeah.
That just shows our increase in
Yeah.
enrollment, Josh.
No. So that one's fine. So the data was showing us our distribution by age group and then for our students, and looking at that same kind of breakdown by the workforce. And then trying to get a picture of our student population as far as traditional and non-traditional. Those three kind of graphs together let us know that we have a pretty broad range of students' ages and a broad range of our staff at the district. Are hovering around 50 years as an average, with half kind of being above and below of that. And what Vice Chancellor Hanning was talking about earlier is as we deal with these changes and shifts in the populations that are due to come, particularly over the next 10 years, we start putting our attention on programs and services and professional development and succession planning, those kind of things taking place at the district. And so the numbers are just giving us that breakdown of where we are in our age distributions. Again, letting us look to the future of what things we could do to serve both the student and the employee population as we get older.
And we are going to take back the two recommendations and any other additional recommendations that have been given. And so then when we come before you again, we'll be able to expand a little bit more on the areas that, that you inquire about. So we appreciate that. So then moving on to the next slide is our diverse workforce. And so this is more specific to, as many know, we've gone into a new process of how we hire. We've implemented a new process that is getting recognition from all over the state as removing as many barriers in the hiring process and allows us to really have a more inclusive and a more inclusive process, and then also expand on our candidates. And so some of the great work that we've done has landed us, we will be at the end of this month to USC to talk about our diverse hiring initiatives and how we can build a process and a policy for how we are hiring throughout the state. And so our process has been a leader in the state. We've gotten a lot of interest on how we've been able to hire and meet our diverse workforce needs. And so we do have some data to share with you that is specific to our candidates and the hiring of our. So I'll ask Dr. Crew to talk about that a little bit.
All right. So in this second handout, if we can bring that first graph, figure 1, into view, I just want to give a quick background on where the data came from. So Vice Chancellor Hannon asked me about 4 years ago to start tracking the applicant data, looking at the number of applicants by gender and by race. And so this is a data that's showing a 4-year span worth of applicants. And I'll say over the last 4 years, we had 8,993 applicants. Half of them, 4,300, not in that graph, I'm just giving everyone a quick overview. 4,300, about 50% of those were qualified applicants. Of the qualified applicants, 2,700 were interviewed, and then 240 were hired. So a very significant number of applicants that our HR staff and those on the committees have taken the time to look at. And here's kind of the summary of some things that pop out over this 4 years worth of data. So in figure 1, we're looking at the breakdown by race or ethnicity. And this is the number of hirees. So over the last 4 years, 46% of the applicants that were hired were Hispanic. We have 28% were white, 13% were African American, and 8% were Asian. For the other 3 populations, it's pretty close to our representation of these groups in the community that we serve. It's the Hispanic population is about 65%, but only 46% of the hirees. So I know HR has been putting a lot of effort in through the bias training that we'll hear from Dr. Brown and things that have been going on in changing the hiring practices. There's an effort to kind of change those dynamics and get those numbers back to represent the population. If we look at table 1, this is the one that's kind of fascinating to me. It shows the impact of the work that our HR team has been doing. If we look at, this is a breakdown by gender, but I only chose female just to not take up too much space. Females were 50% of the applicants. They were 49% of those who were qualified. They were 48% of those who were interviewed, and 68% of those who were hired. So along each step of the way, there was an equal representation of male and females in the applicant pool, in the qualified pool, in the interview pool, and then the hiring representation was 60%. Now, our district is 58% female, but amongst the managers, that's where there's a huge disparity. And this hiring increase has been closing that gap steadily over the years. If we hop into figure 2 on the right, now we're looking at zeroing in just on that point that I brought up, that Hispanics are the majority of the population in the region, but only make up about 46% of our hirees. To try and move that needle to be more equitable in that way. So if we look at, I just wanted to take the 2 bars, the black and what appears to me to be orange, I hope, that in 2021, Hispanics were 46% of our applicants, but they were 52% of those who were hired. And in 23-24, they were 43% of the applicants, 46% of those who were hired. Just to show that consistency across the years in our hiring and things we've been doing. And those 2 numbers at the top give you the overall representation over this 4-year period. 43% of the applicants, 46% of the new hires. So a very consistent kind of hiring approach at the district, but there's still efforts to try and get those numbers again to represent the numbers we see in the community that we serve. So I don't want to keep hitting you with information. If there's questions along the way, I'm glad to pause, but if not, I'll try and get to that final graph.
Trustee Williams?
I mean, a full conversation, we need to, so when we receive information like this, does it have an impact on how we do facilities planning, training for folks based on the population of students that are coming in? Helping us understand, okay, we have this data, what does it mean for us for the future? What are the trends really saying? Do we need to do something different? Do we need to start planning for something? And so that's the thoughts that come to me, the context. At the Board of Governors, we're constantly in litigation related to DEIA right now. Like we're in lawsuits, and the Attorney General is always, and so we're getting a lot of information about how faculty are responding to this, and how, when you talk about free speech, and, when you're talking to this issue specifically. And so I think for us, really understanding the legislation that's driving why you're bringing this conversation forward, and then, a lot of the litigation that's currently happening right now all across the country about DIA is important for us to have the context, because this stuff is going to be getting challenged constantly. And, especially when you're saying, hey, we want to make sure that the hires reflect the regional population, like that stuff is being challenged right now. But that we have real context as a board, so that we can say, well, how are we going to do this right? Because that's potential risk for the district in the future if we don't manage it in the right type of way. I think overall the information is good, but we need to be guided in a way that, like, maybe it's a study session where, so we're thinking about, okay, 5 years down the road, do these trends mean that we need to provide certain type of training for our classified staff? And when we start talking budget, it all connects. But I think overall, it's good that we have this information. Thank you. Yeah.
Chair, may I comment on?
Yes, Chancellor.
So, Trustee Williams, thank you for that. We would appreciate to take the opportunity at the next study session to revisit some of this information and put it into the context that you described. What is the impacts to the district? What is the student impact? And the legislation implications, either legislation that we are supporting or legislation that we would like to propose to make our district far more better in terms of our DI efforts. So with the board's permission, we would love to do that at an upcoming study session.
I have a question. I want to compliment you on this. However, we understand what's going on at the federal level with affirmative action. To improve them, we need to improve them. But we should not stay away from doing what we need to do. We need to make sure that we reflect the composition of the community, regardless of what the federal government is saying. Actually, the federal government is putting that, if you are familiar with Justice 40, they're talking about that we have to make sure that we give opportunities to higher education in terms of funding, whether it be the historically black colleges, or whether it be the Hispanic serving institutions, or whether stay away from the fact that we need to do what we need to do, and we're always going to do it with your direction of following the law. But we're not going to stay away from saying, oh, well, what is that? This is going to be said in terms of the federal, because the federal is actually on our side. That's what Justice 40 is all about. They're not doing a good job at the federal level, and we're not going to hesitate. At least I'm not going to hesitate to bring it out, because it's for the right thing to do at our college, for our college district. That's why our college district is very advanced in many ways, and we need to continue to do that. I don't want us to be afraid of saying, oh, well, let's look at this, and if we do that, the Supreme Court just voted on a lack of affirmative action, whatever it is. Let's just follow the law and follow that. But also the composition. I compliment you in terms of the composition of the demographics for this region.
And I just want to piggyback what Chancellor Rodriguez stated, that we are prepared to continue to dive in and share. We have been practicing the signals and the drivers and looking forward and examining all of those pieces. And I think it's so great. I'm grateful to be able to have the relationship with our academic senates who have a part and a place in how we assess and hire faculty. And so it's important that we continue to have those conversations with our senates, making sure that we're on the same page. We do have regulations that we're following. And again, we have changed our hiring practice, not to check the box, but because it's the right thing to do. And the way that we've done it is in a way that we will be able to show that it helps in that challenge that we're seeing at other agencies. We're changing how we behave. And so that's why calling up Dr. Brown to kind of talk about what does the SBCCD Employee and Wellness Program, how does that play into the work that we just talked about and the work that we're doing to make sure that our district is positioned in a place that we are prepared for the future, even if there are barriers that are coming from litigation or other spaces. And so I'd like to call up Dr. Brown to talk about the future of our area, and then our presentation will be over for the day.
Hello, everyone. This is an amazing conversation and the perfect segue. Very focused on seeking and striving for excellence in our hiring processes. That's something that we'll always be working on, always tweaking, always working toward. There will always be external climates that we can't control, to be fair. And so what we also know is that you can't just recruit great folks. You have to create an environment where they can thrive once they're here. Pre-hiring is all wonderful and fine, hiring process wonderful and fine, but why should I stay? And that's a question that we've been asking ourselves a lot, because folks don't typically quit their jobs, right? They quit their environments. They quit situations where they feel like they can't be their best selves. So what we've been really pushing and strategizing around is belonging at SBCCD. What does that mean? And we have a large plan that is going to come down to 4 tenets. So through the handout word for but just so you understand kind of where we're going with the wellness aspect, we want to make sure that our folks know that they're supported in their mental health, and emotional wellness, their physical wellness, that we have resources and so many things that already exist in this district that people are just not as connected to as they should be. We want to make it easier for them to access and utilize those things, again, so that they can thrive here. Financial wellness as well. That's impact on how you feel about your career, right? We have resources for employees in that area that we need to make sure that they know about. Our learning initiatives. We have so much expertise here, and we want to make sure that folks have access to that. So ongoing trainings, continuous professional development, making sure that they know that we have educational partners, that they want to continue their formal education. And again, having one place to access all of these resources that providing for their employees, and making sure that everyone is taking advantage of those, that we're not just depending on external trainings, but that we're developing things that speak to, as we were discussing previously, our context and who we are as a district specifically, as we're learning and developing professionally. Reporting. We know that everything won't always be peaches and cream, right? If you've ever been a professional, you've had something that displeased you that happened. And so we want to make sure that there's transparency around reporting to human resources. No one likes to do that. But when you do, we want you to know what you can expect, what those timelines look like, what outcomes may be, and that you'll be protected in those situations and supported. And then to make sure that we also take things a step further and really develop our restorative justice components. So yes, something terrible happened. How can we move forward collectively as a community to mitigate that harm? Those are things that we're focusing on. And then the last component of this plan, which is my favorite, is community. So making sure that folks are building connections, again, to the resources that we have here. We have affinity groups like the APIA, BFSA, LFSA, SAGA is our newest employee vested group. That's our Sexuality and Gender Affinity Association. And we want to make sure that folks know that they can find those homes and connect. Additionally, like I was saying earlier, we have a wealth of expertise within the district that we have not tapped into effectively. We have folks that, just for example, maybe work in HR, but did a lot of research and wrote their dissertation on non-traditional students. Why aren't we tapping into that expertise that's already here? So what we want to do is make sure that we're doing a better job of collecting information on our people. You know, what do you know? What is, how can we utilize lift our district while empowering you as a professional? And so that I think is going to be very, very special. And these are things that you'll see roll out by the end of this semester. There's going to be a online HR universe that will be done by December that will make all of this that I'm talking about really, really accessible for both our internal folks and the ones that we hope to recruit. So we're very excited. Questions?
Again, that I keep saying to people that keep hearing me saying that I really believe that our college district has a great team, and we are able to do a lot of creative things because of the leadership that we have. And sometimes we don't understand, because, you know, even in a family, a lot of times there's problems within the family, but a lot of times you figure, hey, wait a minute, I live in a pretty good family. And so people become accustomed of the good things that are happening, and we should not take it. When Christine and our chancellor are always thinking about training people for whatever opportunities, there's not that many college districts that allow people to go get some training. They put funding behind that. One, as a board member, I appreciate that because that's what keeps us going. So again, I always tell people, not only here, but in Sacramento and in Washington, D.C., that our college district is a district with vision, because that's what you're talking about, the preparing of whether it be wellness program, learning initiatives. I mean, how many give a reimbursement for your doctorate program? Mm-hmm. We didn't have it when I first started working here. Zero. I was the one that pushed for that, and then when I was part of CTA, and now, but we shouldn't take it for granted, because see, our employees that come in and complain, or students, they don't realize, my God, students, we're allowed to go to conferences and do it. So I want to thank you for this report. I know you're going to go into a little bit more detail later on, so thank you so much.
Yeah, and just to speak to that briefly, I think that there's an opportunity there for us, right, to make sure that we are being transparent about all of the wonderful opportunities that we have here and making sure that we're honoring the expertise that is here. Without naming any names, you would be shocked how many calls we get. Hey, can you help us develop this program? Or, hey, we've heard of the things that you're doing. Can you? And so you should be, you know, the ones. We do have a good family here. We have a good team.
Let them know that we are consultants. There's a fee for us to go with. Just kidding.
Any other comments, questions? Welcome, Trustee Betters.
Thank you. And I do want to jump on here and make a quick comment, if you don't mind. I just think, you know, living up to the expectation that the district has set as a goal and as a priority that we go over every single time, be a diverse, equitable, inclusive, and anti-racist institution. I think that in goal-setting language, I think Trustee Ray has mentioned the words affirmative action, and we know that those have taken on negative connotations as we have these conversations about what does it mean to build a model where we are very intentional about what the demographics of the population that we have on our workforce and like the demographic. I think anytime you have that, what we're really talking about is, do we have common language about what progress looks like? We've established common language about what progress looks like. And so to me, not just at the college district, but just in general, no matter what entity I think we're in public spaces that we're stepping into, us being able to have those goals and have that common language, then our conversation begins to be, when we're not hitting that goal, have about the progress. So once the goal's been set, I think we're good, and I don't even think we need to use language, but that is anti what the mission is. And so since we have the mission defined, I want to thank you for taking your time and investing in this. And I like how you connected that to wellness, and describe those affinity groups, I think that is invaluable because it's not really difficult to get people to come in. It's difficult to get people to stay at any level. So thank you for that. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. I'll just end with one comment. I was just at the California Economic Summit for the last couple of days, and there were two things that I wrote down. There were a ton of things I wrote down, a million notes. I have a million notes. But two things I wrote down just right now as I was listening to you that I heard there, and if you've been around me for longer than 5.5 minutes, you'll hear me say I've never had an original thought in my life. But two things that I wrote down as you were speaking that were quotes from the past couple, from California, from the state, folks talking at the state level saying, you know, we talk about in our state the need to have shared prosperity. But in order to have shared prosperity, first we need to have prosperity. And so as you were speaking and as you were presenting, that was what I wrote down. Again, I just heard it, but it seemed to resonate with me. And then the other thing that I heard just over the past couple of days is that we need to pay attention to our trend lines, because our trend line can work both in the positive or maybe in the not so positive. So the fact that we are, as Trustee Better said, acting with intention, putting our goals front and center unapologetically, reporting on where we are unapologetically, and constantly striving for better really does kind of fit that as well. So I appreciate the presentations and definitely appreciate the commitment to diving deeper on really the stories behind. You know, when Trustee Williams was, you know, talking about the personas, like what, you know, you'll also hear me say stories make us memorable, but data makes us credible, and we need to have both. So would love to see some stories as well. So appreciate that, and thank you so much for the time and the attention that you put into that. And thank you for being here today. Thank you, Dr. Crew. I feel like we were like, what does this mean? So appreciate.
I'm always so happy he does that part.
I know, right? Appreciate your grace with us as we, you know, really also strive to get better and learn from this. So thank you.
And just as we close, stories. We are next month. Our team that went to NCORD, the National Conference on Race and Ethnicity in Higher Education, one of the biggest conferences that they have in North America. We team will be coming, and it's representation from both campuses of all ranks. They'll be coming and sharing what they've learned and then also how they're implementing that on the campuses. And so they're excited to bring that to you next month. And so you'll be able to hear some of those stories. All right, thank you so much.
Thank you for that. Can we applaud or something? I feel like we need to, like, I don't know. That's hard to do. I don't know. I feel compelled. I know, right? Submit an applause. Hey. No. All right. So now we are on to our action item of the agenda. So the first thing on our action agenda is our Crafton Hills College ACCJC midterm report. So I will look for a motion on that.
I'll move it.
We have a motion from Dr. Betters. We have a second from Trustee Reyes. Do we have any discussion? None. Then we will ask, hopefully our technology is working. We will ask our trustees for their advisory vote, and we will see that on the screen. 2 trustees, here we go. And now our trustees will cast our votes. Okay, voting is closed. So this motion passes unanimously. We are on to the next agenda item, which is the San Bernardino Valley College ACCJC midterm report.
I move.
Trustee Longville and a second from Trustee Reyes. Any discussion? Hearing none. Student trustees, cast your advisory vote. We will see that up on the screen. And trustees, cast your vote. With that, voting is closed, and this motion passes unanimously. Next up is the approval to name PSAH Terrace as the Paul and Joanne Barish Terrace.
So moved.
We have a motion from trustee Gonzalez and a second from trustee Reyes. Any discussion?
I'd just like to thank and commend Paul and Joanne Barrich for their generosity to Crafton Hills College. Paul is a very proud alumnus. When I was first talking to him, he mentioned how he went to the other USC, the University of Sand Canyon. But this is a great.
And Madam Chair, please note that my device still appears to be not working, and so on the last couple of votes, let the record reflect that I voted aye, that I voted yes, although the equipment apparently didn't record it.
Okay, apologies for that. I know, I'm counting, I'm seeing
Well,
seven,
it's
but
got
you know what?
7, but that's
There's-
including the student trustees.
Correct, yes, sorry. We'll watch and we'll call for
Thank
that.
you.
Okay. Any other discussion? Okay, hearing none. So, student trustees, cast your advisory vote. We will see that on the screen. And trustees, cast your vote, and then we will check and see you're right, oh, nope, there you are. Okay, so with that, voting is closed, and this motion passes unanimously.
I pushed the little button on the bottom again. That seems to clear it out when it doesn't work.
Oh, maybe it went to sleep.
I don't know, maybe.
It might be our net zero
Who knows?
goes to sleep after a few minutes.
Yeah.
All right, with that, we are going to move on to our consent agenda. The consent agenda is expected to be acted upon by the board at one time without discussion. Any member of the board or staff or citizen may request that an item be removed from this section for discussion. So with that, I would like to pull item C1, which is the contracts at or above $114,500.
Madam Chair, I'd like to pull item B3, appointment of interim managers, and to table it until the November board meeting.
Okay. Are there any other items to be pulled from the consent agenda?
If not, I move adoption of the consent agenda with the exception of the specified removed items.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second, and so we will now ask for our student trustees to cast their advisory vote. We have that, and the rest of us will now vote. We're getting there. We're getting there. Is it, not yet? There it is. Okay, so with that, voting is closed, and our consent agenda passes unanimously. We will now move on to item C1, which is the contracts at or above $114,500. And I pulled this so that I could abstain from this particular item. So with that, I'd look for.
Move for approval.
We have a motion.
Second.
We have a motion.
I will also be abstaining from this vote.
Okay, so we have a motion and we have a second. With that, we will ask for our student trustees to cast their advisory vote. Okay, and the rest of us will vote. Okay, with that, the voting is closed. The motion passes with 4 trustees, 2 advisory voting in favor, and 2 abstentions. So with that, and then the other item was asked to be tabled until our November meeting. So with that, we will move on to our reports. So starting with our board and committee reports, first up is our board finance committee. Trustee Gonzalez?
Thank you very much. The first thing I would like to call your attention to is our Board Finance Committee Quarterly Activity Report, which should have been distributed to you, and that documents for your information the work of the committee over the last quarter. And then at today's meeting, we had three main areas of focus. The first was the bond workforce report, and so we heard from the facilities team about our progress toward local business goals. So 19 projects were included in the overall. To sum up, local workers have received income of about $4.7 million. Local businesses have been awarded $163 million, and minority, women, and veteran businesses have been awarded $14 million in contracts. Interestingly, workers defined as or identified as Hispanic have earned approximately 44% of the gross pay. The next segment was looking at enrollment, and we were updated on enrollment. So we are at 57% of the fiscal year 24-25 enrollment target, which is a great position as we're looking at the resetting baseline coming up. And we've also considering adding a quarterly report that disaggregates student data. And the third area was the PARS Trust Performance, which is the Pension Rate Stabilization Trust Fund. July and August were fantastic, with earnings of $2.6 million and $2 million respectively. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you for that report. We are now moving on to our Board Legislative Committee. Trustee Reyes?
I'm going to turn it over briefly to Trustee Longville, because he was the one that attended. I wasn't able to make it.
Okay, Trustee Longville.
We had a report from staff on the legislative accomplishments for the year, now that the deadline has passed for the governor to sign or veto legislation. All bills are done for this legislative, this two-year session of the legislature. And we will begin a new one in January, technically the first few days of December, but the business really won't start till January. And so we began discussions just a little bit about some of the things we want to look at for the future, but primarily this was focused on a wrap-up of accomplishments, and we had several things where our staff, and I'm singling out both Angel and Inez in this case, made a significant impact on things that translate to more dollars for our district. Probably the single most significant thing that I want to point out. Their work means more money for us, and I thank them for it. And Frank wanted to add something as well.
Yes, because I want to also compliment our team here. As you know, the Board of Governors visited our campus, and that's a historical thing. And those individuals, including Trustee Williams, we appreciate the fact that they're, and this is a strategic for me, from my perspective, being the chair of the legislative, to set us up to continue to be successful. An example is that we were just recently awarded a BA or BS in water treatment, the water process. That's a huge victory for us. There's so many community colleges that don't have that opportunity. So I compliment our president and the team. I mean, the team in general. When I mention one person, it's not just one person, it's the whole team, but I can't mention 20 other people. Anyway, I want to do that. I'm trying to set this up for next year when we are being considered for a BS or BA in the nursing, because they're going to see that what happens at the San Bernardino Community College District is successful. We do train people, we do educate people, we put people to work, and that's a big plus. We specifically mentioned that to the state chancellor, so she doesn't forget. Because a lot of times, she's the one that really decides, perhaps, what colleges are selected. But, of course, they have to evaluate how successful those programs were. And I'm confident that we'll be in a very good opportunity to be considered for that BS, BA, and nursing. Anything, if you invest on something, it's good, it'll come back to multiply. And that's the way I look, and that's the way I preach when I go to Washington or when I go to Sacramento. And also, the Board of Supervisors. We've already asked for some funding for our college, and hopefully we'll get that. So that's the role and the responsibility. And I want to thank John and our new Board of Trustee member that is part of my committee to be part of that, because we're all about results, positive results. So thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. We are on to our Board Policy and Procedures Ad Hoc Committee. Do we have a report?
No report.
No report, okay. Moving on to our regional and state reports. Anything from Board of Governors?
I'm not going to steal your thunder, but I do want to compliment you on, what was it, Wednesday? Chancellor Rodriguez, as part of being chair of the GIA board, hosted state chancellor and the state superintendent for the Growing Inland Achievements Shared Vision. But it's just great to see you lead, and with all of the regional leaders, just have the utmost respect for our chancellor. And just some of the comments from the philanthropists that were in the room, it just really shows the work that you're putting in to build relationships with folks. It was a great event, and I'm sure you'll talk about it, but I just wanted to, and then I want to say thank you to you. Thank you, Connie and KVCR, for the reception. And, some of the BOG members, at least one of them said that we should make this an annual pilgrimage. And so, yeah, it was a really, I think, the point was well received, I think, and just some of the messages and the phone calls afterwards, folks really appreciated being able to be on campus. So the BOG, the way that it's set up is there are two roles on the Board of Governors. So Pam Hayes and myself serve as the elected trustees that are on the board. And then there's one other trustee, but she serves in a public seat. So everybody else on the board, they're not in districts on a regular basis. These are business people. And so when they have the opportunity to come to a campus, not that they never visit, but, and then there are a faculty member and a CSEA member there too. But it was just a good experience to really see all of the work is being done. Because when we're meeting in Sacramento, it's, we're not really running a college, it's indirect. And so it's just different than being a trustee. So they really commented and really appreciated the hospitality. They really feel like you really went above and beyond. And so everyone was really appreciative of it. And so I was super excited to have the Title V reg change move forward for the first read to support textbooks. And so in November, hopefully that will continue. So, but again, I appreciate all of the effort that was put into making that meeting successful. Thank you.
Thank you. So next is the Joint Powers Authority. We did meet in September, and we are continuing with updating our business plan and moving along, and we too appreciate the investment that our Board of Supervisors intends to help get us jump-started in the direction that we need to with the facilities there. So more to follow, but everything is moving along, so thank you.
May I make a comment regarding that? The Chancellor and Angel Rodriguez took the lead on that when we met with the Board of Supervisors. We've met with two of them already. We're going to meet with the other ones. And they didn't say no. They were very impressed with the process and that we're doing and the success that we're having. So we're talking about $10 million possibly. So, and $10 million for them, as I said to them, the state gives you a lot of money. So you need to give us a little bit of money in terms of the programs. And right now the fires is the main thing. Who does a better job than we do? So I'm very pleased that Diana took the leadership, and they're listening to us. We have an appointment coming up with one of them. We're going to meet with all of them. But anyway, thank you for your leadership also, because this is where we need to work together
you. So, thank you. So next up is our chancellor's report.
Thank you. And I'm going to ask, I take a little more than 3 minutes. We've had a lot happening this month. It was a very, very busy month. But first of all, I'd really like to start by thanking our first responders who really stepped up during the line fire. So grateful for their expertise, their compassion, and all of the work that they've done. I'm also very grateful for our district teams. Under the leadership of Vice Chancellor Hannon for their quick actions to ensure that our campus stays safe. There was a lot going on behind the scenes to ensure that our people, first and foremost, were safe, our students and our employees, and then also taking great care of our facilities to properly under very difficult environmental factors. And so thank you, Ms. Hannon. We appreciate your work and your team's work. Thank you. Yes. And we know that many students, faculty, and staff were affected by this fire, so please know that our thoughts remain with you. And in response, Crafton Hills and San Bernardino Valley secured $20,000 to help students who were impacted by the fires. And these funds will provide immediate relief for those facing these unexpected challenges. Our foundation staff is currently reviewing applications, and the funds will be distributed soon. So kudos to the foundation teams for securing this crucial support. I also want to give a big thank you to Farah Barzana, our executive director of Facilities Planning, Sustainability, and Construction, big title, and her team and everyone at the campuses. I'm proud to announce that the district has been awarded the Climate Action Leadership Award from the Board of Governors, and that is not an easy award to secure. So, congratulations. Our district's commitment to sustainability and climate action, and through their efforts, we're making really big progress in sustainable practices while modernizing our educational spaces. So the award is going to be presented on November 18th in Sacramento. I know that I'm going to be there, and I couldn't be prouder of the work that they're doing. So congratulations again. On another note, as Williams mentioned, I had the honor of giving the welcome remarks at the Growing Inland Achievement Summit as GIA's board chair. You know, the summit brought together educational leaders from across the Inland Empire to explore ways to increase educational attainment, especially from those who are least likely to seek education or to have the opportunity to obtain education. Crafton Hills College's workshop on reconnecting residents with education that was very, very well received. And San Bernardino Valley College nursing student shared her story, and it really was an inspiring story about her journey as a student, as a parent, and the opportunities given to her through the College Corps Fellows Program. So it was a fantastic event over the last couple of days. And in honor of Hispanic Heritage, supported Celios Fund for their second anniversary grant and scholarship awards on this past Sunday. The Celio Fund at the Inland Empire Community Foundation is an acronym for Cultivating Inland Empire Latino Opportunity. And in just 2 years, Celio has raised over $2 million to support nonprofits and scholarships for students committing themselves to give back to Riverside and San Bernardino counties. I had the pleasure of recognizing this year's scholarship recipients on the stage along with Associate Vice Chancellor Angel Rodriguez, who is a co-founder of this organization. And let me tell you, seeing their dedication, surrounded by their families was just super, super inspiring. And even more inspiring was to see our students on the stage. And again, there were several recipients from both colleges. So thanks to Celio Fund, KVCR also received a grant to launch IE Latino Voices, a new radio show that highlighted Latino-led grassroots efforts in the Inland Empire. And finally, I want to thank Trustee Williams along with the California Community College Board of Governors for holding their recent meeting at Valley College. They the Psych Tech program, the STEM Mesa Center, and the new job training building. And they wrapped up, as stated, with a dinner in the KVCR studio. And it was truly a fun night, if a Board of Governors meeting could be fun, right? It was a great evening. I too want to thank everyone who participated. Everything from truly a real red carpet rolled out. I want to thank Trustee Williams for his comments and his remarks, and also Trustee Houston for kicking off the event, for her remarks and being really relatable with the student stories of what we have. It was so much fun that the folks didn't want to leave. We had a charter bus out there waiting for them. We had to drag them on the bus because they wanted to, clean up and go home. But just to kind of highlight the fun, we have a quick video we'd like to show.
Saying. Whoops.
Rolling? Hi, my name is Sirian Villavicencio, and I'm a member of the California Community College Board of Governors, and you are watching KVCR.
Hi, my name is Hadi Naltour, the student trustee from Crafton Hills College, and you're watching KVCR.
Hi, I'm John Longville with the San Bernardino Community College District Board of Trustees, and we're proud to bring you KVCR TV and KVCR Radio.
I'm Ajitha Menon, President and CEO of Calbright College.
And I'm Jennifer Perry, member of the Board of Governors for the Community Colleges of California.
And I'm Hildy Aguinaldo, member of the Board of Governors of the California Community Colleges. And
you're watching KVCR!
I'm Nan Gomez Heitzberg, member of the Board of Governors for the California Community Colleges.
And I'm Amy Costa, President of the Board of Governors for the California Community Colleges.
And you're watching KVCR.
Hi, my name is Casey Chang, and I'm the student representative on the California Community Colleges Board of Governors, and you're watching KVCR.
Hi, I'm Adrienne C. Brown. I am a faculty representative on the California Community College Board of Governors, and you're watching KVCR.
Hi, I'm Felicia Escobar of Community College Board of Governors, and you're watching KVCR.
My name is Stephanie Houston, and my favorite PBS Kids show is Learn With Me. KVCR.
Hi, I'm Bill Rawlings. I serve on the Board of Governors for California's Community Colleges, and you are watching KVCR.
Hi, my name is Frank Reyes, Board of Trustee for the San Bernardino Community College District, and we're happy to have KVCR as the best West Coast TV station and radio station. Thank you so much for your support, and please continue to watch us.
Hi, my name is Christina Nicole Castro Van Dyke. I work for the Board of Governors of the California Community Colleges as the Board Liaison, and you are watching KVCR.
K is for kindness, V is for values, C is for compassion, R is for respect. Your trusted media source, KVCR in San Bernardino, live with Ricardo De La Fuente.
Hi, I'm Noemi Ornelas, and I'm the Vice Chancellor at San Bernardino Community.
I'm Assemblymember Eloise Gomez-Reyes, a graduate of San Bernardino Valley College.
Sonia Christian, Chancellor of the California Community Colleges.
And you are watching KVCR.
Did they get this?
Not yet, we're gonna send it to him. So thank you, Connie Leyva and your team, fantastic event to close it out, thank you. And that concludes my report.
All right, thank you. To follow that, so here we go. So we are on to our Crafton Hills College Academic Senate. Oh, they probably knew. Okay. Crafton Hills College Classified Senate. Oh, you'll be great.
Hi, everybody. It's so nice to see you all today. It's a lovely afternoon. I would like to thank Chancellor responders, some of which came from our own crafting community. And when we have emergency situations, it's interesting. It's always really heartwarming to see the way people pull together, which is definitely what happened in the last couple of weeks. So I just would like to start by thanking everyone for really coming together as a team and supporting our students and one another. On that note, we actually are moving toward bringing Caring Campus back to Crafton, which is going to really be a great opportunity. Look for ways that we can continue to further improve the support that we provide to our students and to really just make Crafton even more of a home and a community and a family than it already is. And so I would like to thank Delmy Spencer and Willie Blackman for their support with that. And our Senate Vice President, Veronica Arrowwood, is going to be our liaison, helping to do some of that work. We hope to launch it in spring. So there's a lot that is happening to move us in that direction. Some of the things that we're already starting to do are, we have a couple of members, Carrie Ade and Sierra Divins, are working on developing a classified professionals mentorship program, which is something that has been very much in need and not happening for a long time. So we're looking forward to that. And then also we have been really working hard to recognize the personal and professional achievements of our classified employees as well. And look forward to the closing ceremonies for tomorrow's Olympics. It was great to see so many people out a couple of weeks ago. It's going to be a fun event, and Crafton looks forward to adding to our medal count. Thank you.
Challenge accepted, I'm hearing? Okay. Crafton Hills College Associated Students. Katrina? Hi there.
You're right, it's a little hard to follow the beautiful KVCR video, but I will try my best. So, Crafton Student Senate is actively working on brainstorming ideas for resolutions to pursue. And in recent years, Crafton has only presented one resolution per year to the SSCCC, but in order to better advocate for student needs and to pursue student access and success, we are looking into hopefully presenting 3 resolutions to the SSCCC. And at tomorrow's scheduled Senate meeting, we will be further discussing the possibility of resolutions and potentially approving of a committee chaired by myself to hopefully begin the process of researching and writing our resolutions. And later this month, on the 23rd, I myself will be meeting with Gio Souza, the Dean of our Institution for Research, Planning, and to further. And as Crafton's delegate to Region 9, we had our first regional delegate assembly on September 22nd, and I had the opportunity to discuss the effects of the recent wildfires. Thank you, Chancellor Rodriguez, for bringing up the amazing work that all of our district faculty and our first responders have done in order to combat the fires and to best protect our students and faculty. And I would like to highlight the work that the region is actually offering a scholarship to any Region 9 students that have been affected by the wildfires. And the Crafton Hills College Student Senate is actively looking into an outreach initiative to our campus fire academy to see how we can best support not only our campus fire academy, but outreach to our neighboring fire departments in neighboring cities to see how we can best help them out. And I would also have officially appointed the Crafton Hills College alternate delegate to Region 9. Our finance director, Victoria Van Stee, will now serve as our alternate delegate. And we are currently in the process of finalizing our plans for our fall club rush, which will fall on Halloween Day, October 31st, from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. in our quad. The mystery theme is what we will be going with this year. And in order to best meet financial goals and stability, our Crafton Hills College Student Senate has worked really hard to be financially responsible and cost efficient. And we only used $450 of our $1,500 budget allotted. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up is San Bernardino Valley College Academic Senate. Even harder to follow our amazing students.
Thank you. Oh, I didn't thank you. Good thing I'm loud. But I wanted to thank all of you. Everybody was saying, we want to move forward. We want positive results. We want acting with intention. And that's what our faculty do at San Bernardino Valley College. And not just faculty are classified because we work collaboratively. So I wanted to comment on our commitment to our 10+1, which was recently exemplified by our 3rd annual Black to School Night event. This vibrant celebration was organized by our Black faculty and staff, BFSA, EOPS, Emoja, and Brothers. They brought our campus community together and connection. We also had our 8th annual Horror Film Festival coordinated by the Arts, Lecture, and Diversity Department, exemplifying our commitment to, again, 10+1 areas, curriculum and education program development. The festival featuring Tim Burton's work enriches our curriculum with culturally relevant programming. Student preparation and success, number 5, by engaging students through popular culture, we create accessible pathways for academic disclosure. Faculty roles, 6 and 8 of our 10+1, the interdisciplinary panel led by Professor Dahim Fazoni, and please excuse me if I said your name incorrectly, I do apologize, featuring faculty and classified professionals, demonstrates faculty's active role in shaping campus culture and professional development, as well as institutional planning. Number 10, this event aligns with our broader institutional goals of fostering a diverse, equitable, inclusive, and anti-racist environment. Next up would be an alumni is coming to present, Alex Espinoza, which aligns with several of our 10+1. Curriculum enhances our literature and cultural studies offering. So with Yvette Lee, who is chairing our book clubs at San Bernardino Valley College, she was able to work with one of the alumni to come back to us and sign his book, which Dr. President Contreras contributed to the Sons of Al Ray. I'm sorry if I'm going to have him come to our campus and sign books and talk and present, which is just wonderful for having this faculty involvement, student engagement, and bringing opportunities to, again, our faculty and staff. And thank you for having me.
Thank you. Next up is San Bernardino Valley College Classified Senate. Okay. San Bernardino Valley College Associated Students. Hello.
Good evening, board members. Last time I came to you, I was the vice president of ICC, but now I am the executive vice president of ASG. Currently, I've been chairing the ICC meetings, and we've been planning our fall club rush, It was pushed back because due to the fire, we had to push back so we can plan more, but thankfully, our fall club rush for ICC will be in next week. Their lawn. We'll be providing food for students who need food during that time. We have our clubs out there. They're amazing and they're great. We just approved $5,000 budget for food because we know at Valley food gets our students very well and it gets them more active. Another thing is our e-board meeting. We approved to attend Sacramento's advocacy. And tomorrow, our Senate will be meeting to approve the budget for our trip for Sacramento. Thank you all and have a nice day.
Thank you. Next up is our CSEA. CTA. Hello.
Good evening. I'm obviously not Jeff Dimsky. I'm Denise Knight, and I'd like to bring remarks for Jeff this evening. Board of Trustees, Chancellor Rodriguez, campus presidents, senior district leadership. On October 2nd, CTA held their general meeting at Crafton Hills College, and we wanted to share a few things that came out of that meeting. A first discussion point involved class size, which ranged significantly between the campuses all across disciplines. Some professors teach 50 or more students in their sections, while others have sections that cap in the mid-30s. Managers mostly determine these numbers, but their process varies. Our members would like to have a more standardization to ensure the workload assignments have parity, and we'll be working on this as part of the negotiations. A second issue involves remote work assignments. Again, no standardization exists. It's far more challenging to receive remote work than assignments than the faculty on other campuses. In the same spirit, managers on both campuses permit more instructional faculty to work remotely than non-instructional faculty. Our members would like remote work opportunities to apply equally or evenly across our campuses. Lastly, our full-time faculty expressed wage concerns. We earn, according to our salary study, more than 15% less than our colleagues in neighboring districts. This is nothing new. I've been here for 29 years, and it has been a consistent fact. Why is it that districts 10 miles down the road in all directions consistently pay faculty more than to do the same exact jobs that we do? This is an equity and a dignity issue, and it's high time that we get a raise. I'd like to close my remarks by complimenting the district and our membership on supporting the annual Olympics game that opened at Crafton Hills a couple of weeks ago. It was a great event. Fun was had by all. Not to be outdone, Valley is hosting tomorrow, and Crafton Hills, we are coming for you. I just want to put that on record. We did not take the gold 2 weeks ago, but we plan to take the gold tomorrow. So I want to thank you for the opportunity to share comments. Thank you, thank you.
Thank you. Sounds like, again, challenge accepted. Next up is Police Officers Association. Looks like no report. Okay, so we're on to staff reports, and first up is our San Bernardino Valley College President, Dr. Contreras. But can I just say one thing? I just want to say thank you, thank you, thank you. I don't know what the right time was to say thank you. I was able to host a tour of about 40 staff Bernardino County Superintendent of Schools office just a couple of weeks ago, organized, and I know, like Erica on the back end was working to just make sure everything was right and fair, and the entire team, and Dr. Contreras was there to welcome us and give us pins, and I mean, talk about walking the talk of creating a sense of belonging and creating a sense of community. I know that our team walked away very much more connected to the school, but also to the district, and with a we support and intersect. So thank you so much for welcoming us. Thank you for taking the time to really walk us through the new Applied Technology Center building and show us all of the innovations and the progress and really the impact that we are having on our community. So I just wanted to say thank you for that. I'm not trying to take your 3-minute time. Oh my gosh. But anyway, I didn't know what the right moment was to say that. So that was the moment I chose. So you're up.
And that concludes my report.
There you go. I know.
Thank you for that feedback. In addition to the written comments that I submitted, I have a few additional items. And one of the things you said earlier was, trending. What's trending? My first 100 days, I just crossed my first 100 days, and it's absolutely apparent that San Bernardino Valley College is academic excellence, is student-centered, beautiful facilities, financially strong, but really today's presentation as well, DEIAA and community. So this month, October is very busy. It's Breast Cancer Awareness Month. It is Hispanic Heritage Month. It's Philippine History Month. It's a bunch of these activities that we're celebrating. And our campus is just vibrant with activity. And a few of the items that are happening is Transfer Career Day happened yesterday. I want to thank Dr. Rosas, Joanne Hinojosa, and Kenesha Buffon. Universities, colleges, and employment opportunities. We had Grad Fest Day yesterday, Jamie Salier and all of our counseling faculty out there. We had the LGBTQ drag show, Todd Heibel, Fernando Gomez, Ernie Guillen, Indigenous Peoples Day, Ed Gomez, and all of these activities that are really working towards what we're trying to accomplish, sense of belonging, diversity, a home at San Bernardino Valley College, and the activities that keep going on for Hispanic Heritage Month. I want to thank the president of Gil and for her work on that as well. Number two, we mentioned the Bachelor's in Water Resources Management. I want to thank VPI Humble, Dean Vanessa Thomas, and especially the faculty who did the heavy lifting to get us to the finish line of that. Just an outstanding accolade, and to host the Board of Governors on that day made it extremely special. Number three, Chancellor Rodriguez shared the $10,000 from San Bernardino Valley College distributed for students impacted by the line fire. Really proud of our foundation to get that done. Director Mike Lane, Felicia Sanchez, and those dollars, if they're not already, are really close to the finish line to get in the hands of the students. And then the last one is the Olympics that has been mentioned. Really happy to host, and really want to thank President Kevin Horan for bringing that community building opportunity to this district. At Valley College, we're kind of referring to round one as the Raft Gate, or the fuzzy math from DSO, how we ended up with 2 bronzes. But really excited to welcome everyone. If you are able to join, please do so. We're going to have hamburgers and hot dogs and paletas and DJ, and just really celebrate our work as a district and have some fun doing it. And if you don't get a bronze or a silver or gold, we're all winners, just like T-ball, just for participating. That concludes my report.
Thank you for that. Next up is Dr. Horan from Crafton Hills College, and I've already hit him up to try and steal the Olympics idea. Again, never had an original thought in my life, so Dr. Horan.
Day 2 of the Olympics, everyone medals, so it's a wonderful event. A couple of items I would like to highlight that have been taking place at Crafton. Thank you, Board of Trustees, for passing the naming of the terrace at our Public Safety Allied Health Building for Paul and Joanne Barrich. They have generously, through this gift, will be donating $180,000 in total, which will support our first responders and our fire academy, which is an amazing way to eliminate that financial barrier for students. It continues to expand the ways that we create inclusive learning environments with a new effort. We have 6 tenure track faculty participating in a new program called Open for Anti-Racism Curriculum, and it's around leading efforts to include our DEIA strategies around open education resources in the classroom. And we're really excited about this new project, led by Kashonda Harris and Jillian Robertson, with help from Natalie Lopez, Glenn Thronson, Kim Salt, and Shirley Wan. I also would like to congratulate our counseling department. They were asked to present at the Garner Institute in Pittsburgh, Philadelphia at the National Symposium on Transforming the Post-Secondary Experience. Mariana Makame is there right now, where she is representing the counseling department, where they are presenting on our unit-based counseling model and completion team model that we've been having some great success with. And that's my report.
Thank you. Executive Vice Chancellor? Vice Chancellor, Human Resources, please. I know we've already heard from you.
I do not have a report, but I would like to have a friendly reminder that we are all SBCCD. And even though the DSO did take gold in cornhole and silver in rafting, we all belong to SBCCD. We are all SBCCD, so let's go DSO.
Supreme Board have a team? Oh, wait, were we not invited? Yeah, okay. They just left the ringers off the agenda. Okay. Let's see. Dr. Ornelas is not here, so I'm going to assume no report there. Okay, with that, we are on to our information items. So unless there's any questions or any discussion about anything on the information agenda, yes.
I think sometimes we might take certain things for granted, but like whoever formats the agenda does a really good job, and it just makes me think about the ACCT workshops. The ones on board governance sometimes are not. I know it's extra work, but I think our district could really do a really good board governance workshop for ACCT to help some of the other districts. When you sit in there, like the level of organization, like when you look, and what made me think, this is a procedures review list, and then like the calendar, and just there's some really good governance things in our report that I think in ACCT people would benefit if we did a proposal and did a workshop.
Quick one.
Yes.
It might be Dr. Contreras Day. I just want to say you did such a fantastic job, and I think just laying out and displaying what San Bernardino College District is about, but more if anybody was able to catch it, it was phenomenal. I just enjoyed it. It was very thoughtful. I'm a visual learner, and although you were just presenting words, I saw everything from beginning to end. It was like an orientation to the college, so I appreciate you for doing that. And I just want to give incredible kudos to our incredible board trustee over here, incredible colleague. Thank you, Trustee Williams, for bringing that body here. Thank you. He was on me too. He was all, hey, this is going to be spectacular. I canceled a meeting. I got myself here, and it was spectacular. So again, not to belabor it, but I feel like I'll be remiss if I didn't acknowledge your hard work in that body and bringing that here and allowing us to participate in that and everybody having the experience that they had. So thank you for that, sir.
I have a recommendation. I just became aware of since we're all family, became aware that Beverly Powell, who was a board member and was very involved with the foundation, is not doing very well. A friend of mine told me, Dennis Bias, I like to recommend let the chancellor, whoever, Christina, to follow up, because he's probably the stage 4 of some kind. Perhaps we can send him some flowers, because she's done so much for this district.
I'll be sure to reach out to her.
Yeah, please.
And the family on.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Okay, so it is 5:39. We are going to convene into closed session. Do we need about 10 minutes? 5 minutes, I'm seeing? Okay, 5 minutes. So at how about 6? 5:45, we will start our closed session. So thank you all. We'll see you on the back side of closed session. Okay, the time is 6:16, and I will reconvene the public meeting. The board took one action in closed session. So on October 10th, 2024, the board unanimously, with board members 6 voting for and 0 against, took action to approve the release of probationary number 32264 as the job developer effective October 11th, 2024. And with that, that's the only report from closed session. And our next meeting of the board is our board strategy session, which has been canceled. So our next meeting of the board is our regular business meeting that is in November on November the 14th. November the 14th. I know, I'm like, November the 14th at 4 College District Boardroom at 550 East Hospitality Lane, suite number 200 in San Bernardino. And the time is 6:18, so without objection, this meeting is adjourned.